Rumblefish, Chapter 5. Steve went home, and I went home, because I didn't want to kill over in the streets, and because I figured the motorcycle boy might be there. It was still a little early for the old man. I ran into Cassandra on the way up the stairs. I mean, really ran into her. Cassandra thought she was the motorcycle boy's girlfriend. She was a weirdo, if you ask me. I couldn't stand her. She'd been a student teacher at the high school the year before, and the motorcycle boy was in one of her classes. She flipped out over him. Girls were chasing him all the time anyway. It wasn't just because he was good looking, he was different looking. Anyway, he could have any chick he wanted, and what he saw in Cassandra, I don't know. He must have been sorry for her. There she was, college educated and from a good family and from a nice home on the other side of town, and she moves here into an old apartment and follows a motorcycle boy around. She wasn't even pretty. I didn't think so anyway. Steve said she was, but I didn't think so. She'd walk around barefoot like a hick and didn't wear any makeup. Almost every time I'd see her, she'd be carrying a cat. I don't like cats. I didn't go as far as Biff Wilcox did, use them for target practice with the 22 pistol, but I didn't like them. And she tried to talk like the motorcycle boy, try to say things that meant something. She didn't fool me. Hi, she said to me. I waited for her to move over so I could go on up the stairs, but she didn't. Hell, it was my stairs, for Pete's sake. I just looked at her. I never tried to pretend I liked her. Well, move it, I said finally. Charming child, she said. I said something to her I wouldn't normally say to a chick, but she really got on my nerves. She didn't even flinch. He don't like you, I went on, any more than he liked any of the rest of them. He doesn't like me now, period, she said. She held out her arms. They were covered with tracks. She was shooting up. See? I was surprised for a second, then disgusted. If he ever caught me doing dope, he'd break my arm. He's done almost that much for me, she said. She had always seemed stuck up, like she thought her and the motorcycle boy belonged to some super elite club or something. She wasn't so sassy now. I'm not hooked, she said, like I was her best friend. I just thought it might help. I thought he was gone for good. One thing the motorcycle boy couldn't stand was people who did dope. He didn't even drink most of the time. There was a rumor around that he killed a junkie once. I never cared to ask him about it. One day, out of the clear blue sky, he said to me, I ever catch you doing dope, I'll bust your arm. And he'd do it too. Since that was one of the few times he ever paid any attention to me, I took it serious. I looked away from Cassandra and spit over the railing. There was something about her that really got on my nerves. She took the hint and went on down the stairs. I found the motorcycle boy in the apartment, sitting on the mattress against the wall. I asked him if there was anything to eat in the house, but he didn't hear me. I'd gotten used to that. His hearing had been screwed up for years. He was colorblind, too. I found some crackers and sardines and milk. I ain't picky. I like about anything. I also found a bottle of Sneaky Pete and finished it off. The old man never kept count. I took off my shirt and washed out my knife cut again. It hurt real steady. Not bad, but steady, like a toothache. I'd really be glad when it quit hurting. Hey, I said to the motorcycle boy, don't go anywhere till the old man gets home, okay? He dragged his eyes off the wall, looked at me slowly without changing his expression, and I could tell he was laughing. Poor kid, he says to me. Looks like you're messed up all the time, one way or another. I'm okay, I said. I was a little surprised he'd worry about me. See, I always thought he was the coolest guy in the world, and he was, but he never paid much attention to me. But that didn't mean anything. As far as I could tell, he never paid any attention to anything except to laugh at it. My father came in after a while. Both of you are home, he asked. He wasn't as drunk as usual. Hey, I need some money, I told him. I haven't seen you for quite some time, the old man said to the motorcycle boy. I was home last night. Indeed, I didn't notice. My father talked funny. He'd been to college, law school. I never told anybody that because nobody believe it. It was hard for me to believe it myself. I didn't think people who went to law school turned into drunks on welfare, but I guess some of them did. I need some money, I repeated. He looked at me thoughtfully. Me and the motorcycle boy didn't look anything like him. He was a middle-sized, middle-aged guy, kind of blonde and balding on top, light blue eyes. He was the kind of person nobody ever noticed. He had a lot of friends, though, mostly bartenders. Russell James, he said suddenly. Are you ill? Got cut up in a knife fight, I told him. Really? He came over to take a look. What strange lives you two lead. I ain't so strange, I said. He gave me a $10 bill. And how about you? He asked the motorcycle boy. Did you have a nice trip? Yeah, went to California. How was California? It was one laugh after another, even better than here, as amusing as this place is. The motorcycle boy looked straight through the old man, seeing something I couldn't see. I was hoping they wouldn't get started in on one of their long talks. Sometimes they'd go for days like they didn't even see each other. And sometimes they'd get started on something and talk all night. That wasn't much fun for me since I couldn't understand half of what they said. It was hard for me to decide exactly how I felt about my father. I mean, we got along okay, never had any kind of arguments except when he thought I'd been swiping his wine. Even then, he didn't mind much. Any either. We didn't talk any either. Sometimes he'd ask me a question or something, but I could tell he was just trying to be polite. I'd tell him about a river bottom party or a fight or a dance, and he would just look at me like he didn't understand English. It was hard for me to respect him, since he didn't do anything. He drank all day out in bars, and came home and read and drank at night. That's not doing anything. But we got along okay, so I couldn't hate him or anything. I didn't hate him. I just wish I could like him better. I think, though, he liked me better than he did the motorcycle boy. He reminded the old man of our mother. She left a long time ago, so I didn't remember her. Sometimes he'd just stop and stare at the motorcycle boy like he was seeing a ghost. You are exactly like your mother, he'd tell him. And the motorcycle boy would just look at him with that blank, expressionless animal face. The old man never said that to me. I must look like her too, though. Russell James, my father said, settling down with a book and a bottle. Please be more careful in the future. The motorcycle boy was quiet for so long I finally thought he was upset about Cassandra. She said she wasn't hooked, I told him. Even though I didn't like her, I thought maybe this would cheer him up. Who? He asked me, surprised. Cassandra. Oh, yeah. Well, I believe her. You do? Sure. You know what happened to people who didn't believe Cassandra. I didn't. My father said, the Greeks got him. Now see what I mean? What the hell did Greeks have to do with anything? You don't like her anymore, though, huh? I asked him. He didn't answer me. He just got up and left. I went to sleep right away. Smokey came by around midnight with his cousin who had a car, so I went to the lake and drank beer with them. There were some girls there, and we built a fire and went swimming. When I got home, it was early in the morning. The old man woke up and said, Russell James, I heard a rumor going around that a policeman was determined to get one of you. Is it you or your brother? Both of us, but mostly him. I knew who he meant. The cop was a local who had hated us for years. I wasn't worried about that. I was a little worried that I might have got my side infected from swimming in the lake, but it looked all right. I was tired again, so I cut school and slept till noon.